OK, we're going to take you straight to Brisbane, where Treasurer Jim Chalmers is speaking after the release of today's monthly inflation data.
If you take electricity prices, for example, they have fallen 21.5% in the year to November. They would have fallen 1.7% without our energy rebates for every household that we are rolling out. So electricity prices would have come off a little bit. Without action, they've come off substantially because of the electricity bill rebates that we are providing to every household in Australia, and that's a good thing. Rents went up 6.6% in the year, but they would have gone up 7.9% were it not for the changes that we've made to Commonwealth rent assistance. So whether it's our cost of living help, our responsible economic management, delivering back-to-back surpluses in our first 2 years, almost halving the deficit in the third year, that has all worked alongside monetary policy to return inflation to the target band for the first time since 2021. And as I said, 4 months now in the target range, 3 months in a row where it's been at the lower end of the Reserve Bank's target range for the first time in some years now. Now, we know that this good progress in the aggregate national numbers doesn't always translate into how people are feeling and faring in the economy, and that's why the cost of living remains the Albanese government's #1 focus. We are confident about the progress that we're making, but we're not complacent about it. We also know that inflation doesn't always moderate in a perfectly straight line. We saw overnight in Europe where inflation's gone up. We've seen in the most recent data, or in recent data from the United States and the United Kingdom, that inflation, even as it moderates overall, doesn't always moderate in a perfectly straight line. We also know that this monthly data doesn't compare from month to month exactly the same basket of goods and services. So it's a more volatile measure than the quarterly figures, but still very encouraging, very pleasing to see this significant and substantial progress, particularly when it comes to the underlying measure. Underlying inflation coming down in November is a very encouraging and welcome sign of the substantial and significant and sustained progress that Australians have made together in this fight against inflation over the last couple of years. Now, remember that Australians would be much worse off under Peter Dutton. He opposed the cost of living help, which is rolling out right now, and he would make things worse, not better. We know that the #1 risk to household budgets is a coalition government, because we know that Peter Dutton came after Medicare when he was the health minister. We know that coalition governments push down wages. We know that they've got this nuclear insanity which would push up electricity prices as well. So Peter Dutton would make things worse, not better. We know that from his record on Medicare, their record on wages, and the bizarre, crazy nuclear schemes which would push up electricity prices in this country. So we're fighting inflation, we're helping with the cost of living, and we're building Australia's future, while Peter Dutton would put more pressure on household budgets, not less, and he would take Australia backwards as a consequence. Happy to take some questions.
Have today's inflation figures boosted your hopes of a rate cut in February?
Well, as you know, I don't make predictions about decisions taken independently by the Reserve Bank. I don't preempt or predict those decisions. I haven't in the past, and I don't intend to now or into the future. They will take that decision independently, and I'll focus on my job, which is rolling out this cost of living help, being helpful in the fight against inflation, getting inflation down and wages up, strengthening Medicare, and rolling out cost of living help. That's my job and that's my focus. You would have seen that the markets in the last little while have increased their expectations of a rate cut in February. That's a matter for the markets. That's not my focus. My focus is on doing my job. The Reserve Bank will take their decisions independently. We'll just impose a bit of order. We'll go Lydia and there, and then we'll go to yourself.
The RBA, though, is growing increasingly confident that inflation is returning to the normal band, backwards band. Do you think that the figures today will add to that confidence?
Oh, it's definitely true that in the most recent statements from the Reserve Bank, they have indicated that they're becoming increasingly confident that we're getting on top of this inflation challenge in our economy. Like the government, they're not complacent about that, but they're confident that we have seen and are seeing substantial and sustained progress in the fight against inflation. I think those Reserve Bank minutes that came out in the week of Christmas made that point, I think, very clearly and very starkly. The Reserve Bank and its governor and its board can speak for its own thinking. From the government's point of view, we're very pleased to see underlying inflation come down. We're very encouraged by the substantial and sustained progress we've made, seeing inflation moderate quite substantially over the last couple of years. The Reserve Bank will factor all of that in when it meets at the next occasion and subsequently throughout the year.